This is Mungo Dark Manor, and welcome to Dark Manners. Today on Dark Manners, we're going to discuss how to make a composter for about $10. Now, there are different ways to make composters and different ways to compost. The easiest way to compost is just to take your compost debris and throw it in a pile in the corner of your yard. The idea behind a composter is that it will help you compost the materials in your compost pile faster. And the main way that composters do this is by getting more air to the compost. A few factors that will increase the speed the composts at. One is the amount of air that gets to it. The other is how big the particles of the compost are. For example, you could compost a log, but it would take a long while to do. But if you ground it up into chips or into sawdust, it would compost a lot faster. Another factor is how much green and brown compost you have in your compost pile. It's generally recommended you have an equal amount of green and brown compost. Brown compost is actually stuff like dead leaves, and that's one of the reasons they call it brown compost. Dead leaves are brown. Green compost is stuff like cuttings, like branches that you cut off that have green leaves in them, and those green leaves are called green compost because they're green. Green compost has a lot of nitrogen in it. Brown compost has a lot of carbon in it. And if you have equal amounts of them, they tend to break down faster together. So I guess you can say green compost eventually will turn into brown compost. Another factor is how moist the compost is. The compost has to be moist, but it can't really be wet. So you need to keep some moisture in the compost. Now you can buy composters for up to several $100s, but we're going to make one here out of a trash can, and this trash can was on sale. I think it's regular $15. I got it for $10. And the thing you want to look for is a lid that clamps on. And this one has some holes and stuff in the handles where I think you could use a bungee cord to help hold the lid down. The reason you want to hold the lid down is because you want to be able to roll it. There are two ways to do it. You could actually lay it down on the ground and roll it along its side. Or you could roll it on its edge like this, just to mix up the compost. You probably don't want to fill up the composter all the way so that you can roll it more efficiently. Some people actually make two composters so they can have one that they're kind of processing and the other one they're filling up. You can get a list off of the internet by Googling compost, and you can get a list of what types of things are good compost and what things are green compost and what things are brown compost. As I said, the more equal amounts of green and brown compost, the faster it will compost, but you don't have to have it exact or anything. It's just a general guideline. Some people don't even worry about that. Some people actually compost grass, and grass tends to, if you look at piles of grass, you'll see brown grass and green grass, so it almost kind of makes its own brown and green compost as it breaks down. It's also, grass is also finer chips or blades of the grass. It will help it break down a lot faster than, say, a pile of leaves. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to drill holes in the side of this trash can and on the bottom of the trash can. Now the hole should be between about 1/4 of an inch and an inch. The smaller the hole, the less debris that will come through it, so it's preferable almost to have a little bit smaller holes if you can, and a few more of them than bigger holes. The bigger holes may let some of your compost roll out too easily. You can also drill holes on the top of it. I'm not going to do that. Some people do, some people don't. If you drill holes on the top, rainwater can get into it. But if you don't drill holes on the top, you can just add water to it as you want to. Holes on the bottom will let any excess water drain out. So if you look in there, you can see all the holes that I've put in this trash can. You can measure them out and space them evenly or eyeball them. I put holes down 4 sides and around the top, some extras and some in the bottom. I think this should be good to start with. If I decide I need more, I can always add some more. If I decide I need bigger ones, I can always make the holes bigger or add some bigger holes and spots. I've started out, I put in the bottom of the trash can here some dead leaves, which would be brown compost, to start off the compost. And now on top of this, I'm going to put coffee grounds that I got from a local coffee shop. And coffee grounds are actually considered green compost because they're high in nitrogen. And so there we have the coffee grounds in there. What I'll do is I'll put another layer of leaves on this, another layer of coffee grounds, and so on and so forth until the bin is filled up. I'm putting my composter back here, and I have it on 2 concrete blocks that have a space in between them, and that lets air get under the holes that are underneath the composter. Generally, I would set this closer to a back door where it would be convenient, so if I had compost from inside the house, I could easily put it in the composter. I'm putting a little bit farther back because this is out of the way for now, because I'm doing some work and having some work done in my backyard at the moment, and it will be in the way closer to the house at the moment. I'm Mungo Dark Manor, and this has been Dark Matters. And whatever you do, enjoy gardening. What you want? What you want? Come on. Come on.